Good afternoon, everyone. So, chapter 1 2 of geography we have already revised. Today, we are going to revise chapter 3 geography, earth movements, and major landforms. So, what we know about earth today was were we knowing about it earlier also? So, no, our earth has not always looked the same. So, Alfred Wegener put forward a theory of continental drift. According to this theory, all the continents were joined together as a supercontinent known as Pangaea, right? So, according to him, Pangaea began to break up 225 million years ago and eventually fragmenting to form today's continents. So, we also know about what are lithospheric plates. The lithospheric plates are in motion, constantly in motion. Do you know why? So the lithospheric plates are constantly moving due to tremendous heat generated inside the core of the earth, which causes the rocks which are inside the earth's surface to melt. These molten rocks expand, rise, push the plates away from each other. When they cool down, they sink and bring the plates towards each other, which is known as, this process is known as plate tectonics. And how do the plates move? Due to the heat generated inside the core of the earth. I gave you one example. Do you remember? When you keep, water to boil into a pan on the gas, and if you put a plate over that, so I gave you that example. Please take example that example to understand the movement of plate tectonics. Now there are three types of plate tectonics, plate movements. So plates are always moving due to heat generated inside the earth's surface, right? So three types of plate movements are there: convergent plate movement, divergent plate movement, and transform plate movement. So convergent plate movement occurs when, due to the forces of compression, two plates move towards each other and they collide. When two plates they move towards each other and they collide, that is known as convergent plate movement. And when two plates they move away from each other, it is known as divergent plate movement. And when two plates horizontally slide past each other, that is known as transform plate movement, right? Now next is earth movement. So the movements of the earth are divided on the basis of the forces that cause them. So there are some forces which act inside the earth, there are some forces which act on the surface of the earth. So let's talk about them. The forces that act inside the earth are called endogenic or internal forces which act inside the earth. They are of two types, like sudden forces, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, landslides, and dystrophic forces like mountain building, which takes millions of years or many years to form. The forces that work on the surface of earth are called exogenic or external forces like river, glaciers, wind, sea waves. They act very slowly and result in erosional and depositional activities. Now let's talk about volcanoes. What is a volcano? All of you know very well that volcano is an opening in the earth crust through which magma comes out onto the earth's surface, and the magma that reaches the earth's surface is known as lava, and the passage through which it travels is called a vent. The top of volcano has a cup shaped or a funnel shaped depression which is known as a crater. So on the basis of frequency of eruption, volcanoes can be classified into three types: active volcano, dormant volcano, and extinct volcano. And the types of these volcanoes, their examples are very, very much important. So active volcano are the volcanoes in which continuous volcanic activity occurs. An eruption can take place anytime, which are very active. For example, Mauna Loa in Hawaii and Stromboli in Italy. These are active volcanoes. Now, dormant volcanoes, and you can also say sleeping volcano, which are sleeping and can awake any time. Dormant volcano is the one which has not erupted for a long time, which are sleeping but may erupt any time. For example, Mount Fusiyama in Japan and Mount Vesuvius in Italy. Now, third one is extinct volcano. These volcanoes which has no record of eruption and no possibility of eruption in future as well. For example, Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya in Africa. So again, I'm saying learn about these volcanoes, these types of volcanoes very, very carefully, because these are very, very much important. Now let's talk about the earthquakes. So I hope that you all are aware about earthquakes, as we have experienced earthquake few months back, right? And in Turkey also there was a very, very destructive earthquake occurred. So we have discussed about that also in the class. So let's revise it. So what is earthquake? Earthquakes are sudden vibrations inside the earth crust caused by internal forces of the earth. They may also occur at the time of a volcanic eruption. When volcano erupt, then also shaking of earth can happen. The point where the earthquake originates inside the earth is called focus. And the point on the earth surface, which is directly above the focus, is called epicenter. And you know, this place experiences the most damage during an earthquake. So earthquake tremors are recorded by an instrument called seismograph, and the magnitude or intensity of an earthquake is measured by the Richter scale. The numbers on the scale range from 0 to 9, and earthquakes which are of magnitude 7 and above are very destructive and cause heavy damage to life and property. So Bhuj earthquake, the Turkey earthquakes are well discussed in the class, right? So next is gradation. So you know, the forces of nature, they act upon the major landforms and modify them continuously. So differences in their heights is reduced. The earth surface is thus gradually leveled. It means difference in their height is getting reduced. So what is the definition of gradation? What you will write, what is gradation? So the leveling of the earth surface by natural processes is called gradation. So both internal and external forces bring about gradation. So external forces, which are the external forces like running water, moving ice, wind, sea waves, they are agents of gradation. So gradation involves both degradation and aggradation. What is degradation? So degradation means wearing down of highlands. Wearing down, it means reducing the height of highlands. Wearing down, tearing of highlands. While aggradation is the deposition of the broken rock fragments in low-lying areas or in the depressions. So degradation means wearing down and aggradation means deposition of broken rock fragments in depressions, low-lying areas. In both the ways, you can say that in both the ways, earth surface is leveled, right? So degradation can be of two types, weathering and erosion, and very, very much important, their difference also. So the process of breaking down of rocks in their place of origin is called weathering. What is weathering? Just breaking down of rocks is called weathering, right? And the process of wearing down of rocks by agents of gradation. So agents of gradation I told you, which are running water, moving ice, wind, sea waves, and then transportation of the eroded material to be deposited elsewhere is called erosion. So, what is weathering? Just breaking down of rocks. And what is erosion? Breaking down of rocks by the agents of gradation and transportation of those eroded material to deposited somewhere. That is called erosion, right? So this is a difference between erosion and weathering, right? So landforms made by different agents of gradation like rivers, wind, glaciers, and waves will be discussing in the next lecture. You please revise up to this, okay? Thank you and have a very nice day.